I think what this visit signifies for us is that Belgium is a historical and important partner for Rwanda and the region, and also globally. And we feel that on the Rwandan side that we, after 20 years, should be moving to a much more stable relationship. As you know, you've been reporting that in the media. We have had some small moments of tension. We've had issues with bank accounts closed. We've had discussions that took too long over visa delays and so forth. And we feel that because of the importance of the relationship and because of where Rwanda is today, a much more stable and more a country that is ready to do much more at this time, that should be an opportunity for us to step up in terms of our relationship. That was really the substance. Secondly, I think to do much more in terms of investment and trade, to bring more business and investors from Belgium and vice versa, to also, in terms of our political dialogue, to get a much better understanding of each other's systems, and particularly the Rwandan political system, and conduct a sincere, candid dialogue on any issue. We are open to Belgium as our partner, and we have agreed that we should be in a constant dialogue on any issue. We might disagree sometimes, as it happens, sometimes strongly disagree, but all that in the interest of moving forward as partners and friends. So that was the substance of the meeting. Didier, I don't know if you want to say something before we take questions.
Briefly, just to say that, of course, we try to explain that we are coming together with Alexander de Croo to prove that we need to stabilize, maybe, but also to enhance the bilateral relations among the two countries. And it's the reason why it's still our second visit this year to Kigali. We were in Kigali 2 days ago, and we are coming back for the second time in 2015. So I'm not sure that will be the same in the next weeks and months, but hopefully it will be possible to come back again this year. To say some words about the remembrance, because it was very important to us to go this morning to Gizozi. I'm sure that it's very important to remember the situation 20 years ago here in the country, and we will maybe work together on the new development in the museum, new development about the conservation of documents, and there are some possible relations maybe with the Museum of Tervuren in Belgium and with all specialists in digitalization of documents and archive. I'm sure that it's quite important to think about that. But just to say also some words about just the bilateral relations, we need to go further in a permanent dialogue on two issues. First, the economic development, of course, about development aid, but more than that, about the capacity to invest and to organize some business contacts among companies in new technologies in different fields. I've listened to the different comments. I'm knowing that there are three priorities in Rwanda: energy, energy, and energy. And so we'll try to give an answer to that, but maybe also on other fields like water sanitation and waste treatment and others in agriculture and other fields. But that's the first part, and then we will try to organize maybe this year such a mission in specific fields with a lot of companies coming to Rwanda. On the other side, we need to enhance the capacity to have permanent political dialogue. That means that we need to discuss about the political space, about pluralism, about human rights, and to exchange on that, and maybe also to agree sometimes, to disagree if it's needed, but it's important to do that on a permanent basis. Et donc je voudrais simplement confirmer que la volonté d'une mission telle que celle que nous organisons ensemble aujourd'hui, c'est vraiment de renforcer, au-delà de la stabilisation, de renforcer les relations bilatérales entre nos deux pays. Et il était important pour nous d'avoir un moment de souvenir, parce qu'on ne doit jamais oublier dans quel contexte se développent nos relations bilatérales, dans quel contexte se développe la réalité politique au Rwanda. Et passer à Gisozi ce matin, c'est encore une façon de resituer le cadre dans lequel nos relations se développent. Mais dans les mois à venir, ce que nous souhaitons, c'est le faire sur deux plans. Je le disais, le développement économique, les relations dans des secteurs notamment de nouvelles technologies où des entreprises belges peuvent peut-être apporter quelque chose en matière d'énergie, je pense notamment à l'énergie renouvelable, mais en matière de traitement et d'assainissement de l'eau ou en matière de traitement de déchets, au-delà de ce que l'on fait, l'on fera encore en matière de coopération au développement. Et puis dans le dialogue politique que l'on souhaite permanent, pouvoir échanger sur l'espace politique, le pluralisme, les droits de l'homme, le fonctionnement de la police ou de la justice, en évoquant des dossiers et en le faisant ensemble, dans un vrai dialogue où régulièrement on sera d'accord et où peut-être de temps à autre nous aurons à constater des divergences. And the last word is just about the regional situation, because I'm sure that we need to improve the security in the region, and I want to say that from the Belgian point of view, it's needed to go further in the fight against some negative forces, and of course FDLR in the eastern part of Congo is one of them, and it's time now to push pressure on different partners to be sure that it's possible to do that. It was possible to have a very long period of time to organize a voluntary evolution. If it's not possible, we need to take some initiatives, and I want just to say that it's a real decision in Belgium, like in many other countries in Europe, I'm sure, to do that, and to push pressure to go in the good directions. And je voudrais vraiment dire que la résolution est très claire de faire en sorte que l'on puisse ensemble avancer dans la lutte contre un certain nombre de forces négatives qui ont un effet sur les pays de la région. Et c'est vrai que dans l'Est du Congo, il y a maintenant un travail à poursuivre concernant notamment les FDLR, et la résolution belge est très claire en la matière, notamment dans la démarche au-delà de la période volontaire. Quand la période volontaire échoue, il faut pouvoir passer à des initiatives forcées, et je pense que le moment est venu de faire suffisamment de pression en la matière. Alexander?
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for the very warm welcome we have had here 2 times already, as my colleague Didier has said, and it has especially been an opportunity for me to see in practice the notable progress that has been made. No one can deny that on the domain of economic growth, on the domain of healthcare, on the domain of social topics, the cooperation between Rwanda and Belgium has shown really progress, and progress that was to the benefit of the whole population of Rwanda. I also welcome the proposal to install a permanent dialogue, and to be able to really on a continuous basis discuss a broad number of topics. Et je pense que les sujets à discuter clairement se trouvent dans le domaine économique, dans le domaine du développement, dans le domaine de l'énergie. Clairement, c'est un domaine dans lequel nous sommes très actifs avec notre relation de coopération, et aussi avoir une discussion sur l'espace politique, sur l'espace de la société civile. Et je suis convaincu qu'un dialogue permanent nous permettra de mieux se comprendre, de mieux comprendre quelles sont les attentes, et de bien définir de quelle manière on travaille ensemble pour les années à venir. Clairement, de notre point de vue, le Rwanda est le pays où notre développement, notre coopération peut vraiment montrer des fruits. Je pense que dans une période de 5 ans, on voit du progrès réel, et quand on voit du progrès réel, je pense que c'est bien pour le peuple rwandais, c'est aussi bien pour le peuple belge.
Thank you very much. I'm with Reynders. I have a couple of questions. One is about the recent aid swap, the bonus, 40 million euros. You said that it was about Rwanda's failure to achieve certain targets that have been agreed upon between the 2 parties. And I want to know what's your view on Rwanda's political space and the media freedom, because these are one of the areas you said Rwanda qualified to get that bonus. And more about Belgian view of the FDLR military action? When is it happening? 2nd January is over. Thank you.
Well, that is, you've posed a lot of questions, so I will address one of them. One of them is it's a contractual relationship that we have made between two equal countries, and where I think the analysis was that a number of the elements that were stated out were not valid, not relevant anymore. A number of the elements put forward have not been met. But I think that what is important today is that we have agreed on a next step, and it's a next step in our relationship, where we, on a continuous basis, we will be able to discuss a broad area of topics, and these types of elements will be one of them. I think we have made a first step in the past years. If we take it a step further and do it on a continuous basis, I think this is something that shows that we are coming to a mature and stable relationship.
Maybe just about the other issue, I said that if we want to make progresses in the region, of course it's quite important to organize a regional integration. We don't have any lessons to give coming from Europe, but it's possible to share an expertise about that, because we have organized 2 world wars before to organize integration. But regional integration is quite important, and first of all, to do that, we need a peaceful process, and we need a security issue, and first of all, of course, in the eastern part of Congo. And my comment is that we need to prove that it's possible to push pressure on all the negative forces in the region. I've discussed that sometimes with the people in charge of the MONUSCO, and we agree on that. So now it's time to prove that it's possible not only to defeat the M23, not only to organize actions against other groups in the region, but also to do the job about the FDLR. And it's quite important to prove that, and I'm sure that we agree on that. And that's the reason why I've said we need to push pressure now to take the decision and to organize the process, because we have tried to give a lot of times, like it was decided by the Heats some months ago, and now it's time maybe to make the evaluation and to go further.
Je me permets de revenir à vos introductions respectives, si vous permettez. C'est un moment, puisqu'il y a une relation quand même assez particulière entre le Rwanda et la Belgique, et je crois que c'est les politiciens qui ont le privilège de voir une évolution dans cette relation, mais je crois que ce n'est pas rendu dans les médias et dans les analyses en général, en ayant suivi la presse belge dans les dernières 20 années. Je ne vais pas tirer dans mon propre pied, parce qu'avec ce qui s'est passé chez Charlie Hebdo, je crois qu'on est tous solidaires là-dessus. Mais pour revenir particulièrement, je crois que même les questions sur les petits entregroupes qu'on veut chaque fois poser, est-ce que vous ne croyez pas que cette relation, parce qu'un des points de la Belgique, internationalement parlant, c'est la connaissance justement de cette région. Et j'ai l'impression que chaque fois, elle est transformée. Est-ce que vous voyez dans le futur une autre façon d'aborder cette relation rwando-belge et l'analyse de cela? Je sais que c'est pas si simple à répondre, mais c'est un sentiment.
Non, je voudrais d'abord que, surtout après l'horreur, la barbarie que l'on a vécue hier au cœur de l'Europe, à Paris, je ne voudrais surtout pas m'immiscer en quoi que ce soit dans la manière dont la presse traite les relations entre nos 2 pays, ou dans la manière dont la presse traite notre comportement. C'est la liberté d'expression, c'est la liberté de la presse, et nous en sommes très fiers. Et donc, je n'ai pas de remarques à formuler de ce point de vue-là. Je dirais simplement que ce que nous tentons de faire, c'est effectivement d'organiser une relation bilatérale stabilisée, en ce sens que le dialogue soit permanent. Il est évident que dans les relations bilatérales, il y a la situation entre les 2 pays, il y a aussi, on vient de l'évoquer à nouveau, la situation régionale qui peut parfois poser problème. Mais si, dans les relations bilatérales, vous voyez un intérêt à ce que l'on puisse organiser aussi des contacts entre les presses belges et rwandaises, nous serions ravis qu'il y ait aussi des échanges de ce point de vue et qu'il y ait peut-être une meilleure compréhension mutuelle. Mais je le répète, certainement en plus après l'horreur que l'on a vécue hier dans une rédaction, il ne nous appartient pas ça n'est pas la tradition de responsables politiques belges de porter un jugement sur la manière dont on aborde la relation entre les deux pays. Je pense simplement qu'il y a souvent des éléments de cette relation qui sont mis en exergue, parfois par les politiques aussi, alors que nous tentons de développer une relation permanente et de voir les progrès réalisés, comme l'a dit Alexander de Croo, encore ces dernières années. Les projets qui ont été mis en œuvre ont permis des développements réels au Rwanda. Et je pense que le dialogue politique que nous voulons instaurer de manière permanente va dans ce même sens, de manière très franche, très ouverte, mais entre nous, à la presse ensuite de se prononcer, de donner son avis et de commenter.
Peut-être rapidement enchaîner là-dessus. En tout cas, nous sommes heureux qu'une partie de la presse belge nous a accompagnés ici. Et donc, s'il y a une opportunité de parler entre vous, on va se taire, parler entre vous. Et je pense que certainement, ce serait une bonne chose. Alors, que la presse, de temps en temps, pose des questions critiques, des questions parfois qui fâchent un peu, je dirais plutôt heureusement. Heureusement que nous avons la capacité de l'avoir, et je suis convaincu que ça se passe dans plein de pays. Ça nous donne aussi l'opportunité d'expliquer ce qu'on fait, d'expliquer qu'il y a une proposition de dialogue continu pour mieux faufiner le passage d'informations au niveau politique. Donc je pense que chacun a joué son rôle. Mais le fait d'être ici et de pouvoir regarder soi-même comment les choses se passent, je pense que c'est plutôt une bonne chose.
Peut-être très rapidement, la question de Contact FM. Je pense qu'il y a trois choses. D'abord, il y a un passé, il y a une histoire entre le Rwanda et la Belgique. Et donc, automatiquement, tout ce qui s'écrit, tout ce qui se dit va être d'une manière ou d'une autre teinté de cette histoire. Deuxièmement, le plus important, c'est qu'on puisse, et c'est aussi notre responsabilité, les autorités rwandaises, d'expliquer plus, de montrer, de faire comprendre notre système, surtout le système politique. Nous avons un système politique basé sur des choix purement rwandais qui ne sont pas nécessairement des choix qui seront compris, mais il faut qu'on puisse se comprendre par rapport à ces choix-là. Et nous, en tout cas, le gouvernement, on ne s'attend pas à ce que la presse soit toujours de notre côté, pourvu qu'on puisse bien se comprendre et surtout, je pense, aller au-delà des préjugés traditionnels. Et ça s'applique, je pense, à l'Afrique en général. On ne va pas vraiment au fond des choses, hein, et on a tendance à donner une analyse ou une image qui est en fait prise de l'autre côté. Et je crois que le plus on s'explique, le plus on se parle, le plus on fait comprendre ce qui se passe au niveau des choix politiques du Rwanda, je pense que le mieux c'est. Donc, ça m'étonnerait que la presse rwandaise n'est pas toujours du côté des choix politiques rwandais, mais je pense ce qui a été dit ici par rapport à la relation bilatérale s'applique aussi, et c'est d'essayer de se comprendre sans préjugés, et quand on n'est pas d'accord, on n'est pas d'accord, quand on est d'accord, on avance. Donc moi je pense surtout qu'il faudrait qu'on puisse bien comprendre le système politique de ce pays, les choix politiques, et aussi comprendre que, bon, il y a cette histoire tragique du Rwanda, mais on n'est pas un pays, on n'est pas un peuple qui veut rester otage de son histoire. On évolue à notre rythme, on a des difficultés, comme beaucoup d'autres pays, et donc pour moi c'est surtout qu'on puisse comprendre ce qui se passe, qu'on ne dise pas ce qui a été dit par d'autres sans aller vraiment au niveau de l'analyse. Sinon, je crois que la relation entre la presse et les politiques, elle est la même partout.
One of the reasons for not giving the 40
million euro was lack of progress on the press freedom. Do you plan to improve that? And second, what is your reaction on not giving the 40 million?
Thank you. Let me begin with the second question. I think there is a lot made about these 40 million from the perspective of the government of Rwanda. This was a bonus that was discussed between the two countries. If the dispersing country, which is Belgium, feels that there is a reason to not disperse that amount in part or in full, we're very satisfied on the side of the government. I think if we're fixated on these 40 millions and overlook some of the very important achievements in terms of the money that Belgium brings to this country, then we're not giving the full picture. So really, to be honest, on the side of the government of Rwanda, Belgium's decision is Belgium's decision. That will not stop us from continuing and even improving on the relationship. So I think there's too much ado about, you know, a specific amount which is not even part of the core aid package. The goal of this country, with our partners, hopefully, with Belgium, is at some point to get rid of aid. That is really where we want to go. The timing is not something I can give you right now, and that is why we're discussing investment and trade much more than aid. So I think people should just calm down about this whole 40 million. I'm being very, very honest about the feeling of my government. Press freedom. You know, we discussed in our meeting the necessity sometimes to go to specifics. If you ask me, I was Minister for Information overseeing the press for 1.5 years in this country 5 years ago. For me, there is quite a lot of improvement. If you look at the number of involvement for example, radio stations, the presence of social media, there is significant progress in this country. And I think it's also important because, again, this is one of these cliches that come up all the time. There is room to improve in terms of press and freedom, and both together. But it's not particular to Rwanda. I think if we look at some other places, it's what happens in Rwanda or in Africa happens also in Europe, in Asia, for a different context of freedoms and politics. So once again, I think for me, there is no policy in this country to thwart or to not give the press room to grow. You would know that this country has made a very deliberate decision to invest government resources in internet for the whole country. That's why we have laid optic fiber across the country, that we want every Rwandan to be able, whether they're professional media people or average people, to be able to speak up, to express their views, and to abide by the law. So there's a bit of a contradiction when you think of press freedom and the investment that the government has made in facilitating expression by the press and others, and then to think that you are investing and opening up and providing internet to everybody, and at the same time you are trying to hamper press freedom. Again, I think it's a question of how much more can we do, and there is always much more we can do.
It's a question for Mr. Reynders. Do you believe in the capacity of MONUSCO to dismantle FDLR in the coming weeks? Because there is a lot of signs that it will become very difficult for them to find these people. So what is your assessment about that, please?
I have the same assessment that the people in charge of the MONUSCO, and I'm sure that they've already said that it's possible to do that. Now it's a question of a real political decision to go further and to organize the process. But it's very clear that for the people in charge of the MONUSCO, it's possible to do that. We had many discussions with those people, and I'm sure that it's a first step. Of course, after that, we need to organize the process. And the process is possible, and since many years, to be concrete, it was possible for many people to come back to Rwanda on voluntary basis. So why not to go further on such a basis, but also to organize the process with military action if it's needed. And I repeat, I have the same assessment than the people in charge of the MONUSCO.
My name is Sylvanus and I work for RBA. My question goes directed to Honorable Didier Reynders. We know that the DRC has been the main recipient of aid funds from Belgium. And for the couple of years, for the last almost 20 years, the FDLR has been there committing some different atrocities. And with the expression of the attack on the January 2nd, are you really comfortable with the continuous support with the government of the DRC, based on the new findings by the UN report that the government of the DRC has really been supporting the FDLR up to date? Thank you so much.
Yes, I will be very brief because we will go next month together to DRC, and I don't have the tradition to speak about our relations with another country when we are in one country, and I'm sure that it's better to do that. So I give you a rendezvous. If you have the time to come to Kinshasa next month, come with us.
If I can comment, even though the question was not to me. You know, this whole issue of FDLR in the DRC, we need to stop thinking that this is an issue for one country. The particular nature of the FDLR is that it's a militia that was associated with genocide. And that makes it the responsibility not just of Belgium or Rwanda or DRC, but of the international community. There is a resolution by the United Nations Security Council. There is a resolution by the African Union. There are decisions by the International Conference on the Great Lakes and the Southern African Development Community. So, you know, we expect, and we've heard from the Belgian ministers that, you know, pressure is needed right now. There is no other way at this point, after more than a year of waiting, that we can get rid of this genocidal militia without military action. We know, and we're not naive about some of the support to FDLR by even leaders in the region. It's just in plain sight. But I think it's time to take responsibility. We have no need for further resolutions or repeating ourselves. And this is a task, not just for Belgium, you know, pressuring the DRC. It should be first and foremost the responsibility of the DRC, which is where the FDLR has been for the last 20 years. We know that it's been rearming and regrouping and recruiting even child soldiers in the last 6 months alone. So I think the outrage should be not just directed to one country. This is, I think, a very serious issue in terms of the immediate and long-term stability of the region. And you know, let's expand it to all that have the responsibility. But of course, the leverage and the knowledge of the region by Belgium is not to be neglected. I know we have closed, but I think we should give the last word to somebody from member of the press from Belgium.
Oh.
I think
she's a lady.
They have been
so
quite
it's a lady,
selfish, and preferably a lady.
Madam Minister, such an honor. I would like to go back. I would refrain from going back to the issue of the 40 million euros. However, the conditionality Belgium is posing goes beyond this exceptional bonus that is not in the actual aid package. For example, due to delays also in Belgium with the formation of our government, but also due to the issue with M23. There was also a delay in the designation of still nearly 70 million euros of Belgian development aid, and also the Belgian ministers made clear that they will only complete the negotiation on a new cooperation agreement with Rwanda after the completion of the presidential process. This is a lot of conditionality. What is your position as a country towards that? Is that a good way of handling cooperation agreement on a bilateral basis? Do you like all these conditions, or is it something you would prefer to get rid of?
Let me give you the sentiment on the side of Rwanda. Aid is many things, including creating a relationship where there is leverage beyond aid itself. So aid is not an act of charity. Two, this contract between the donor and the recipient is a contract that is entered into voluntarily. So, you know, if you have a contract and it's agreed in the contract what needs to be done on either side, usually there is also a clause about what happens when the contract is broken or when there is disagreement. So really to say, on the part of the government of Rwanda, we know our relationship with Belgium is much bigger than 40 million euros. It's much bigger than, you know, the gymnastics of aid. We've done, I think, quite a lot of thinking, both on the continent, on the African continent, but also with our partners. We have a covenant, we have an agreement on how aid should be dispersed. But again, if there is any reason to not give whatever amount that was agreed, for us, Rwanda, and I think if I can speak for some other countries, we understand and we know that we are not supposed to be living on somebody else's tax money. That's in the big picture, that's not what we want. So we don't consider this a matter of life and death. If we disagree, or if we have to stop aid, well, Rwandans will have to find a way to live and to move on without aid. So really, no hard feelings on the part of Rwanda. When Belgium feels that their money is being put to good use, that it's what has been agreed in terms of contract, I think breaching a contract is not the end of the world, and you know, let's just relax about it. I think we can get much more from Belgium in terms of investment, in terms of trade. We have so many companies now prospecting here. We have existing companies from Belgium here. So, and I think we agree with Belgium that, you know, our relationship should be based on mutual understanding, on respect. But if we have to disagree on any aspect and the whole aspect of conditionalities for aid, we will do other things. We won't stop our relationship just because of that. So that's how I look at this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Ministers. We've come to the end of this briefing. Thank you for your time.